Hey Woodman, it's Jeremy. I'm all right. Hey, don't know how to tell you this, but I want to take a break. No, I'm being serious. Like the yacht rides, the jet skis. It's all been fun, but I just want to take a break. Basically, until GoPro shares are above $12. Yeah, we're gonna be on a break. I don't know how else to tell you. No, you know what? This has nothing to do with how big Steve Wynn's yacht is. Am I going to go on it this weekend? Yes, I will. But you know what he puts out? You don't. Yeah, well, you know what? I'm sorry. Yeah, his yacht is bigger, but that has nothing to do with it. The fact is, he knows what a man wants. And what I want is my shares to go up. And you're not giving me what I want. So, therefore, I'm going somewhere else to get what I want. So, I'm hanging out with Wynn right now. And I'll tell you what, when you start giving me what I want, we can resume our relationship. No, don't start crying. No, please. Okay, now you're just sobbing. Listen, it's a break. It's a break, okay? It's a break. We've had a lot of good times. It's just a break between you and me in our relationship, okay? You give me what I want and we can resume things, okay? Okay, bye. Good day, subscribers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am Jeremy. This is the Financial Education Channel, and today we're doing the stock market weekly recap number 18 ever in history, guys. Recapping the May 19th, 2017 week. We're going to take a look at how the markets did this week. Stocks that went up and down the most, which we had a ton of stocks that were unfortunately on the downside versus the upside this week. And then we're going to look at the biggest news stories, which we had quite a few, and we had quite a few big earnings this week that we got to recap. And lastly, we're going to look at what's going on next week, what type of earnings do we have coming out, any stories that might be developing, and those kinds of things, guys. So I'm going to enjoy sharing this with you today. Let's get into this. So first off, the Dow Jones, we had a negative 0.44% week this week for the Dow Jones, a down week. NASDAQ down 0.61%, also down this week, struggling week for the NASDAQ. And lastly, the S&P 500 down 0.38% this week. All the markets negative this week. Not huge, but pretty decent. Now let's look at those stocks that were up and down the most. We had Lumber Liquidators this week, up over 15%. This one has been on the list before. This is having a phenomenal year. Look at the year to date, up over 85% in, what are we, 5 months into the year? Very impressive out of Lumber Liquidators there, guys. Then we had Maui Land and Pineapple Company. I know this one for sure has been on the list before. This was up 137% year to date. Are you freaking kidding me? 14% gain again this week. That company, I don't know if people are buying pineapples left and right. I know my wife buys them all the time. Holy smokers. I know their main business is like a lot of things to do with land and resorts and things like that, but my goodness gracious. CarMax had a good week this week. CarMax up over 9% this week, so they've been having a rough year, but they came back and now they're positive year to date because of this week. So now let's look at the downside. Unfortunately, a lot of stocks we got to talk about here. So Foot Locker down over 21% this week. Horrible week for Foot Locker. American Eagle Outfitters, another retailer, down almost 20% this week. We had Dick's Sporting Goods, another retailer, down over 15% this week. We had Pier 1 Imports, another retailer, down over 15% this week. We had Barnes & Noble, another retailer, down 12.5% this week. We had Tilly's, another retailer, down 12.74% this week. We had Rite Aid, guess what? Another retailer down 12.41% this week. We had Boot Barn, another retailer down 11.53% this week. We had J.Jill, another retailer down 11% this week. We had Gap, another retailer down 11% this week. I feel like I'm getting repetitive at this point. Ruby Tuesday, a non-retailer, a restaurant-related stock, was down over 12% this week. This is a $2 stock now. Holy smokers. Abercrombie & Fitch, another retailer down almost 10% this week. So we see there was a massive amount of stocks that were down 10% or more this week. And guess what most of them had in common? A lot of retailers, guys. Retail is just a tough place right now. Too many stores, too many different retailers, and not enough business at the end of the day. That's the bottom line, guys. So let's look at these biggest stories that happened this week. So the first story that caught my eyes was obviously on Wednesday, the Dow going down 370 points. After the whole Trump situation with Comey, the memo came out and he said supposedly Trump asked them to end the Flynn investigation. So now Comey is gonna, Comey? He's gonna, Comey sounds like a communist now. Comey's gonna now get in front of the Senate this coming week, and he's gonna basically give his whole story. I think it's either this week or next week. He's gonna get in front of the Senate. He's gonna, tell his whole side of the story and whatnot. We're gonna get to see how much truth is in there. Right now it's a lot of he said, she said type things. Well, it's a two he, so he said type situation. And we'll get to see, is there really something to worry about? The worry is, could Trump get impeached or something like that? And if he did, how would that affect the markets? Basically, anytime there's uncertainty in the markets freak out. And that's why the market dropped 370 points. It had nothing to do with the economics. Everything's fine and dandy right now. It basically had to do with, is this a type of situation that, this pin drops and another pin drops, and then all of a sudden we got a straight up impeachment going? The market does not like uncertainty at the end of the day. And also, the market has kind of priced in a little bit some of the possible corporate tax cuts that Trump may do. We know he's trying to get a 15% corporate tax rate from a 35% currently. He probably won't get that, but let's say he gets a 25%. Obviously, all companies' earnings will go up at that time, right? Because then all of a sudden, they have less they have to pay in taxing, so that money goes straight to the bottom line at that point, guys. So, a lot of different things there. We'll see how all this plays out over the coming weeks. It's just a big circus. I don't know if anything's really going to happen. It's tough when you're in a room with another person and the other person said such and such. Who knows? You know what I mean? There's nothing recorded there, guys. So we'll see. Now, John Deere, this company reported some phenomenal earnings here. Look at these numbers John Deere reported. The farming equipment maker reported earnings of $2.49 a share, easily beating $1.68 that was expected. Are you freaking kidding me? Revenue came in at $8.29 billion, topping the $7.29 billion. They topped revenue by over $1 billion. So this is a stock that just had a phenomenal quarter. I guess farm orders are up. I mean, this is just kind of one of those businesses that has an ebb and flow, depending on, the capital purchases of these companies. So the farmers, specifically the farming type companies, so ridiculous quarter out of them. Alibaba reported numbers here, so they had kind of mixed results. Alibaba, which is, by the way, the biggest e-commerce platform in China, Alibaba reported revenue of $5.61 billion, up 60% year over year. It's amazing to me how big they are, and they're still growing like that. 60% year over year, and beating the consensus estimate of $5.2 billion. So they had a nice beat there. Adjusted earnings rose 37% to 63 cents per share, but it did miss what analysts were expecting, which was around 66 cents. So the stock did fall, but phenomenal revenue growth out of that company. That's amazing what they're doing over there. Then we had Walmart come out with numbers here. Walmart earnings topped street estimates as the retailer's digital sales jumped 63%. We'll talk about that in just a second here, but that's the headline, right? So earnings were $1, excluding items versus expectations of 96 cents. Revenue came in just barely missed on revenue. So revenue was $117.5 billion. The forecast was $117.75 billion. Same store sales are up, so that's good for Walmart. Kind of the issue here I have with Walmart is I still don't think they're taking Amazon nearly seriously enough. They're so focused still around earnings, around EPS, when they need to push that off and say, we don't care about that right now. We need to get our digital sales in a good place. And the headline number there was 63%. Well, why don't we see what the actual numbers were? I looked through the report they put out. They haven't put out a 10Q yet. There was like an 8K. I looked at that on their investor relations page. I looked at everything that they possibly put out as far as like a press release and whatnot. I couldn't find anywhere what the dollar amount of that 63% digital sales gain was? I can't find it. It's nowhere. It's like non-existent. They might put in their 10Q. I don't even know if they'll put it in there. I can't wait to see it when it does happen. But here's my thing. Like, okay, they bought Jet.com, which is now reporting in their numbers there. Jet.com is probably adding around roughly, maybe let's say $500 million in revenue per quarter. Or maybe we say $400 million, right? Well, then if Walmart's doing, let's say, $3 billion, $4 billion in digital sales this past quarter, right? Well, when you add a $500 million Jet.com, that's obviously going to, be a big part of the increase. Then your other part of the increase comes, but the problem is Walmart needs to be growing hundreds of percent internet-wise right now because they're doing 1/7 of the amount of revenue Amazon's doing online, and the future is online. The retail war is over. Walmart won I guess you could say traditional retail war is over. Walmart won that a long time ago. Brick and mortar stores. The future one, the one that's counting 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, that's the digital one, and I just don't feel like this company is in, same with Target and pretty much every retailer out there. I don't think any of them are taking seriously enough what Amazon's going to do. And if you're Walmart, if you're Target, if you're Ford, your General Motors, your Volkswagen, you need to be not caring about EPS, not caring about profits right now, and focus on the fact that you might still have a business 10 years from now. Because with Tesla coming in the automobile, system, it's the most competitive company to come in there ever in history. I mean, since literally the Ford launched the Model T back in the day, and it replaced horses, this is the biggest entrant in there. So all those companies need to focus on that. These retailers are not taking Amazon seriously enough, and I don't see a future for them unless they do it now, because if they're trying to do it 5 years from now and trying to really take focus on it 3-5 years from now, it's too late. It's too freaking late at that point. Cisco reported numbers. Cisco just reported its third quarter fiscal year 2017 earnings, which beat Wall Street earnings and revenue forecasts, but it offered a worse than expected outlook for its upcoming quarter. Cisco reported $11.9 billion in revenue for the just completed period. Analysts were expecting 11.89. They also reported EPS 60 cents versus 58 cents expected, but they did have that weak guidance. Cisco is just one of those stocks that just kind of hangs around, still a Dow 30 component. They find a way to keep making business. Target reported numbers here. So Target shows progress, but the turnaround still has a ways to go. Earnings were $1.21, and that's excluding items versus a forecast of 91 cents. So it's a beat, but it's not as big a beat as it seems like because it's excluding items. Revenue came in at $16 billion versus $15.62 billion was expected. Same-store sales dropped 1.3% versus a forecast what was supposed to be a 3.7% decline, which is really bad. And then on the conference call here, this Target CEO says, "We're definitely not doing any high fives in the room here today." Target CEO Brian Cornwell told analysts and investors on the company's earnings conference call, "Our first quarter performance is not what we expected to deliver over time." Remember my rant like a week or two ago when I said, why the hell is Target have a big Amazon display right in the middle of their electronics section? Like, focus less on should we give each other high fives and more on like, should you maybe take out the fucking end? I hate when I cuss. Can you maybe take out the end stand that's right in the middle of the electronics section that says Amazon, Amazon, woo, Amazon? Like, dude, you're at war right now and you don't even realize it. So it's just, you know what, guys? Next time you're at Target, and please go to the electronics section and take a photo or a video of that huge Amazon display that they have right in the electronics section there, and send me a Snapchat. Send me a Snapchat. I always look at pretty much every single Snapchat photo or video that gets sent to me. I never really look at the messages, and I never respond no matter what, but I would love to just see you guys when next time you go to your local Target, go electronics, take a photo, take a video, send it to me to my Snapchat. I'll look at it. Believe me, it cracks me up. It's freaking ridiculous. Home Depot reported numbers, phenomenal numbers out of Home Depot here. I was really impressed. Earnings per share came in at $1.67 versus forecasts of $1.62. Revenue of $23.89 billion versus $23.74 billion expected. Beats all around. Same-store sales, 5.5% growth globally, which was the number that really impressed me, versus forecast of around 4% growth. So very impressive numbers out of Home Depot. Home Depot is in a really good position right now because Amazon's kind of not focusing so much on them right now. And Amazon can't really focus on Home Depot until Amazon gets Amazon Prime, where it's not 2-day shipping, it's 2-hour shipping. And that might be 2 years, 4 years, 6 years from now. That might still be a ways off. So until that happens, because what is one of the things that people go to Home Depot for? A lot of people go to Home Depot because they need to fix something. They need to fix it now and not 2 days from now. Their toilet's leaking or whatever. Whatever's going on in their house. They need to switch out an electrical socket or whatever. They need to do that now and not 2 days from now, not 5 days from now. They can't wait for shipping to come in. So until Amazon really gets the 2-hour shipping, whenever that happens, and it will happen, I'm convinced of that will happen, but it might be a few years from now. Until that happens, Home Depot's in a sweet spot, man. They're in a really good spot as far as being one of the only retailers that's really being able to fight off Amazon right now. Now, as far as companies, we got to look at for next week. Toll Brothers is reporting numbers. Their numbers should be very strong. Basically, if you're a home builder and you don't have strong numbers right now, you're never going to have strong numbers. Lowe's is reporting numbers. We should see strong numbers out of them based upon what Home Depot did, unless Home Depot is stealing a lot of market share from them. Tiffany & Co., the super expensive jewelry company, they are reporting numbers. We have Best Buy reporting numbers, who's done a pretty, fair job fighting off Best Buy. They're probably, the one that's got the gun pointed at them the most, and they're still kicking. And then we got Costco reporting numbers. They're in a sweet spot for the next few years. And Ulta Beauty, one of the best run beauty companies out there, in my opinion. They sell, makeup and hair products and all that kind of stuff. They even, have massages in their place now. They do your hair for you. Really well-run company. And they're reporting numbers. So that's what I'm looking for next week, guys. Let me know what you guys are looking for next week, or if there's anything this week that caught your eye, if you have an opinion on anything. I would love to hear from you guys in that comment section. And if you just came across this channel, you may want to subscribe. We talk personal finance on the channel. We talk entrepreneurship. I'm an actual business owner. I give away so many business tips. We talk the stock market, including this single series that I post every single Saturday. Thank you for watching, guys, and have a great day.